MeetUp of the Lean Agile Barcelona. Okay, today we are going to repeat a session from the last CAS, the conference of Agile Spain that happened Tarragona, Ventura, last November, transforming a platform with Unfix Team Topologies. But before I start with the session, I would like to give you a bit of context about where you are right now. This is Zurich, Barcelona, and for that I have Gosia,
hello,
the people team. So that you understand where apart from the PlayStation and big phone.
Okay, perfect. So let me share my screen. Okay. You might know me, and for those that already know Zurich, well, then you are gonna learn better. I work in talent acquisition, so if you have any questions regarding opportunities later in the later meetup after presentation, you can ask me about anything. Okay, but I would like you to get to know the company that is hosting you today. Anyone that knows Zurich already? Raise your hand. Okay, that's quite a lot. Okay, most of you. Anyone that knows Zurich Technology Center? No? Okay, so this part we're gonna cover today. Perfect. So Zurich, global big company in insurance, lots of money, lots of employees, all the countries in the world. Okay, in the short words. So about delivery centers. So we're one of 5 delivery centers globally for Zurich. Those are their locations. Barcelona, I would say it's the best one. We're recording, right?
Yes, we are.
So each center is specializing a little bit in different area. Ours technology delivery center. It means technology is our core, and data, applications, testing, automation, currently AI, cloud. But we have also other centers that covering a little bit similar area, like Slovakia or Mexico, Ireland a little bit as well. And then Poland is doing a little bit different things like HR or finance. Okay, just for you to understand, we deliver globally. So Service Zurich, this is the entity that we have in Spain, apart from the business unit Spain. Okay, and that's how we were growing over the years. And we weren't growing from 0 areas to all of them, but over the years we were adding slowly different areas when once we were growing. In the beginning, we have this line here. Those are our contractors, the lighter blue, and now we're going down with this number, investing in internal people. Okay, and now we're almost 1,000 in Service Zurich, and here our best asset people, we're talking about technology delivery center only, 767, lots of nationalities, lots of languages, young but not so young because we are specialists, and most of us have a degree, and we're still working on gender diversity, so still getting there, but in IT it's still an issue. And engagement index means that our employees are happy in the short ones. Okay, and I hope.
So welcome everyone. Let's go for the Unfix Team Topologies speech. So first, content. We will talk about Team Topologies, about Unfix, a bit of the concepts, okay, around, so that we all are on the same page. It's not just theory, but we need to have a common understanding. Then I will explain how we apply these concepts Okay? So it's the platform. And also, as in the CAS, it's about sharing. Yeah, I say we, because you can see another face on the screen. We will share our experiences above just Unfix Team Topologies, okay? In the transformation that we carry out the last year. Okay, in any case, both models are very, very, very rich in concepts that today we are not going to cover. Today we are going to focus on the, let's say, on the structure, okay? How we use Unfix and Team Topologies to reorganize our platform. Okay? So let's start setting the scene. First, meet the speakers. Yeah, we will talk about Bartek later. Bartolomé is Bartek, the name. So I'm Jorge Bustillo, currently head of the Agile practice team for the data division in Zurich. Okay, I play Agile roles for many, many years. And before that, I was a developer, of course. And just a curiosity, I'm a civil engineer. But yeah, I never played that role. Then we will have Bartek also setting some part of the session. He's an Agile coach working also for Zurich. A bit of the context, as Gosia said before, Zurich, 152 years and delivering or providing insurance products. Today we are going to talk about our DevSecOps platform, more or less 100 platform engineers, 50 technologies that we are managing. This platform is part of the data division. Data division is part of Group Technology and Operations. And we are part of Zurich. So, team topologies. First, a definition that team topologies use. Team topologies is an approach that advocates for the organization design that optimize for the most important words, flow of change and feedback from running system. So they want to optimize the flow or the aims for that. Two concepts about team topologies. First one, cognitive load. Okay. In other words, we are not Superman. Okay. So when we define a structure and the teams, we need to consider things like how many responsibilities and domains the team will manage, how many times they will switch context, or do they have enough bandwidth to master, to be the best team. So these small but relevant items or elements we should consider. And then also, don't forget about the interactions depending on the size of the team, and it's not just for one team, but the interactions between the teams. Okay. So first concept. Second one, Conway's law. Okay. Organizations which design systems are constrained to produce designs which are copies of the communication structures. In other words, what you develop depends on your communication structure. And if you want to see some examples, if your organization is small distributed teams, no independent teams, you are more likely to produce service modular architecture. But if you have a large collocated teams, usually you get a monolithic architecture. And the most interesting thing that Team Topologies introduced is that it's not just this way, but the other way. So if you change what you develop, you can impact how your organization communicates. So first two concepts, and now quickly, team topologies. There are
4 team types. Okay. In yellow, stream aligned teams. These teams delivers value. Okay. Enable team. This team helps the stream aligned teams to deliver value. Sometimes by facilitating. Okay. And then we have the complicated subsystem teams. What a name. Yeah, they also deliver value, but it's not part of the value stream. So they can go to one value stream and deliver value for a time, okay? But they are not own. They don't own a value stream. And last but not least, platform teams. Those who keep the ship afloat. Okay, so we talked before about cognitive load. These teams, the aim of these teams is to reduce the cognitive load of the stream aligned teams. So we have 4 types. And then the second important concept about the structure in the topologies is interactions. Okay, how can interact these teams? They can collaborate. So for a time, they are the same team. They can have an X as a service relationship. So when something is a repetitive interaction, you can have a set of rules and yes, collaborate. And then we have the facilitating. Okay, so yeah, facilitating. The team that is facilitating is not delivering value itself, is helping the other to deliver. This can be by teaching, for example, or by just helping them to improve the process. Okay, Unfix. And to well, so Unfix. This is the definition. You can read it later. But what I want to highlight is that Unfix is a model. It's not a framework. Okay? It's a model, but it's a toolbox. Okay, for organizational design. Okay? And yeah, it's inspired various several things, and I would say the most relevant one is team topologies. Okay, so I will explain Unfix by highlighting the things that are more or less equal, different, and the add-ons that Unfix has. Okay, so first one, what is, let's say, the same? Even Unfix copy the colors. Okay, so stream aligned teams, you have the value stream cruise. I use cruise and it's team. Okay, enabling teams, we have the facilitation cruise. Complicated subsystem team is the capability crew. They have improved at least the names. Okay, and platform team is the same. Platform crew. Okay. So what is different? Completely different. In Unfix, we don't have the interaction modes. So they think are valuable, these interactions modes, but they think that usually teams don't have just one interaction mode. So usually it's a combination, okay, of modes. So yeah, that's valuable. Yes, but yeah, if you can skip it and survive. Okay, and now the things that Unfix add, besides the color and the nice graphics that usually Jürgen Appelo does. First one, governance crew. Okay, this is the traditional leadership team, but in Unfix, they use the management 3.0 concept. Okay, so here we are not looking for managers in a hierarchical mode. we are looking for leaders that set the vision, the purpose, decide the business model, plot the strategy, okay, and care about people. Then we have the experience group, okay, and this team is focused on the customer experience, okay. Remember that we don't just develop products, we create experiences. Okay, this is a quote from Jürgen. Okay. It's very, very important. That's why they have a different team for that. And in fact, usually we don't have one designer or product designer for each of the teams. Usually you have a whole team to support everyone. Then we have the partnership group. Okay, and this team is focused also in another relevant part for our delivery, that is our partners, providers, colleagues, okay, that are not part of our area. Then forums. Forums are what you usually call communities of practice, okay, but with a different name. And there are 9 different types of forums, but yeah. Tours. These are groups of teams, okay, of value streams. And last but not least, the base. Okay, the base is the home for all workers and provides them with a sense of belonging, purpose, and recognition. Okay. So, with that, questions. I know I went really fast, and there are many concepts. So, questions so far?
I have one. Would you be able to provide a similar model or some model that is on the same level as Unfix, but it's not Unfix, just to correlate with something else? Maybe even before the Team Topologies era.
Before the Team Topologies area, we have a lot of Scrum scale models.
So it's
it's an evolution. I think it will be a natural evolution, and you can go to the Unfix web. They have really interesting articles comparing Unfix with SAFe, with all with several frameworks. So you can see the difference between them. Okay.
Yeah, at this point,
it's
framework and model for me is not clear.
So framework is something that is quite fixed. So it's a set of rules, principles, values, but it's quite fixed. Model here is something that is more flexible. Okay. But yeah, the framework, in a framework, you have everything defined. Here is as a model, and you can use it to.
Sounds counterintuitive, Agile framework. If Agile is all about speed and flexibility, I think everything should be a model in Agile.
Yeah, but Scrum is a framework because everything is defined. But yeah, I see your point. Okay, so the platform form. This is what we found. Okay? They've already started data transformation, but yeah, for a couple of months. And yeah, they have this. So it's a very hierarchical organization because each of these boxes is an area with a lead, team, or several teams, and they map the interactions and the services or interactions that they have. So yeah, without knowledge about Agile, they were in a good position to start. And this is what we created. Okay, so you can see some of the teams or groups of teams, Connect, Lab, Control Tower, that they were already here. Connect, Lab, and Control Tower, and the rest as well. Okay, so we didn't join the party and did a big bang. We adapt. Okay, and it's something very, very important. So you can see here all the types of teams that Unfix has. So more or less they are in our structure. And now I will go one by one. If you have any question, yeah, you can ask. So the first one, the base. Okay, in our case, the base is what I call before the DevSecOps platform. Okay, remember 100 or more platform engineers. This is the base. And in a hierarchical organization, it's quite easy to define the base. So there are several types of base. In this case, it's strongly aligned. Okay. I will share the slides later. In the previous one, you can see you could see the different types. Then we have the governance group. Okay, they call themselves a team. Okay, and I and the other Agile coaches, yeah, we've worked very closely with them to become managers 3.0 managers, okay? Not just traditional managers. Okay, a team. Then we have the value stream teams. And here, yeah, I want to highlight that we have three different. So within these teams, we have three different. These are product teams. These are operations teams, and these go beyond, and these are DevOps teams. Okay, so if we focus only on the platform, on our platform, yeah, they are just ops. But yeah, if we get more people, you see this out of the home, get out of the base, because we are getting more people from the other part of the organization, developers, application support. Okay, so these are DevOps. Okay, so these teams delivers value. Then we have the facilitation teams. In this case, yeah, Agile Masters. We use Agile Masters because it's not a Scrum, so we use Scrum, Kanban, a mix. So we use the framework or the techniques and practices that best fit the team. So that's why it's not a Scrum Master, it's Agile Master. And we have Agile, that is automation. Okay, it's a team that helps the others by automating things. Release managers, when we have a special demand, let's say projects that we need to have everything aligned, and the WOW team that are the product owners. Okay, those teams that aim to reduce the cognitive load of the other teams. Governance, office, security, the 24/7 team, cloud DevOps, monitoring, yeah, a lot of amazing stuff. Then the service executive as well. This team, in fact, is the partnership team. Okay, so this team that in fact is one person. He focused, yeah, on the relationship, okay, with other colleagues and partners. Then capability team. Okay, this is the a good name, Labscape. Okay, and here, we have very special technologies and a very special expertise. In the cave, they are helping the rest. Okay. Now we have the tours, the group, group of teams, and we use the former organization that they have, connect, lab, and control tower. Okay. They have a purpose, so it fits. And it's just that. Just to highlight, the only type of team that we didn't use is the experience one. Okay? We haven't found experience in the platform, at least today. We will see in the future. Okay, so now we want to share our journey. But do you have any question so far about what we did?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Where does the business start here?
The business.
The relationship with business, with the customer, something like that.
Okay. So the stream aligned teams or the value stream teams in Unfix names. All these teams are customer facing teams. Okay. The product teams are mostly delivering value to these teams. Okay. But the connect organization is a customer facing organization. So everything that they deliver is for the customers. And all these teams have, let's say, a single point of contact. So it's not a product owner because they are not product teams, but I don't like titles. I prefer to explain what it is. No, it's a single point of contact that gathers all the requests and helps help these teams to be focused on the value. Okay, product owner, but without being a product team.
There you have it. The lab teams, they provide X as a service to connect teams. Wouldn't providing X as a service to be more a platform capability instead of a value streams? What's the difference between X as a service from the value streams from what platform provides?
You are right. And maybe I missed that. So the thing, there is a thing here. These are product teams. It's a mostly product teams because there is a very small piece of their delivery that is also, you can call it operations with these guys. Okay, why I say this? Because here we have the experts, or let's say the people with a very deep expertise in the technologies. So from time to time, these guys, to deliver value, they need these guys. And they have a very defined way of getting this. That's in fact, I miss that symbol when I create the slide. So that was the original meaning for that symbol.
The fact that they deliver a service and it can be a service, it can be a platform, doesn't mean that they are a platform team.
No.
The one underneath basically just services the rest of the organization. So I don't think any conflict there.
Yeah,
There are many. The thing is, there are many relationships that are not mapped in. So if we are looking for the relationships, I need to remove this icon because there are many interactions. Okay, so it's what I meant before. But answering why is this X as a service here is because part of the relationship is an X as a service.
I hope we don't consider like a microservice being X as a service. Everything can be X as a service. I was thinking more like robust stuff, like monitoring platforms.
Yeah, no, you are right. So these teams that are the platform teams, they should be the ones who interact mostly with this type of interaction. But we use Unfix, so we try to avoid use the interaction modes. Someone put this icon here, and I didn't remove it. But this exactly why Unfix doesn't use the interaction modes is why we didn't use it, because we realized that our teams they interact in many ways. So at the beginning we started or we tried to define these interaction modes, but in time we realized that it didn't make sense. So it was an extra effort that didn't help us or we didn't see a real value, effort value. But I need to remove that symbol. Thank you. Okay. Lady. Sure.
Then the connect guys will be the guys who make sure that when you request to subscribe, it's fixed in your house, it works.
So, for example, in the lab team, we have they own the technologies, so they upgrade the technologies. They develop these features. So they are giving the tools so that the organization can deliver the value. So, for example, when I don't know, something simple, a user asks for rights for this database, Connect provides the rights for that database, or a customer requests for the database. Connect set up the database following or using the tools that the lab team is providing. So that's why the lab develops the product. At the end, the product is for Connect is a toolbox. Okay? And if, for example, have AI that is part of the lab organization, okay, they develop automation. And mostly the automation that they develop is for the lab teams, but sometimes it's also directly for the Connect teams because they are delivering value for one customer and they need an automation, blah, blah, blah. So there is also a relationship there. But yeah, lab, they develop the technologies, as I said, features, upgrades, and Connect use it.
So, if someone requesting a testing environment, there is a request that's coming from the POs. And what is the flow, more or less?
A customer requests a testing environment.
Some internal customer.
Exactly. So, for example, we have a team for one cat. Usually, the team's value streams is because we have one customer. This customer requests a testing environment. The Connect team provides this testing environment.
Okay.
It is delivering the value. Okay, connect. But they deliver this testing environment with the characteristics that this team has developed. So yeah.
Okay.
Other question. When you finish, how does all this contribute to empowering teams to deliver value end to end? Because I see only a lot of dependencies, silos, complicated communication. Like, why don't you enable? Because being Agile is like adapting to whatever you need. Like, for example, if you see Spotify nowadays, it's not even using the Spotify model. And you use the models and practices and stuff that you need to use to deliver value. But you see that you have all these transversal kind of things that work with the lab teams, and then if they need something, they have to talk to the connect teams to ask for this, but that's not working inside us.
Okay, so delivery value. That's our goal, no? Deliver value to our customers. These teams, and these ones, are the core of our platform. Each of these teams are focused on just one customer, one user persona, or one domain, and they deliver value to that one customer. The rest of the teams are helping them.
Have the power to which tools they need to continuously integrate the code, continuously deploy, continuously deliver the value. So what do you need the whole other teams to build them up?
Because of the cognitive load. So if we put all end-to-end, and when I say end-to-end, all the knowledge, all the responsibilities on these teams, they will blow up. It's the reality. It's the reality. So we are helping these guys. So I see your point. I see your point.
I work with many teams.
For me, it's a matter of scale, right? At some point, you have so many people that you cannot just have teams small enough to be agile, and at the same
It
time,
depends on the complexity, the sector, the amount of people that you need, but you can scale it different ways.
Exactly. No, and you are right. So there are some organizations in which, you have some product teams that, they can work end to end independently, and they don't need many or too much support from us. In this organization now, they need this support because think that we are managing about 50 different technologies, and for example, in, let's say, standard Scrum organizations, scale Scrum is because the stack of technologies is much more reduced, or they usually use the same technology, between different teams. Right now, this is not our case, and we needed to reduce the cognitive load of the connect teams. That's why we did this way. I think we can reduce some of the teams, but this was a journey, and this is a journey right now, and we are working on that. An important point that I didn't share with all of you, because now we are going to talk about the journey, but we have the buy-in from management to do this transformation with just one, let's say, rule. We can transform the organization, but we need to keep delivering, and that, let's say, slow down a little bit everything. And we adapt little by little. If you ask me, for example, release managers don't make any sense. But right now, we have people that do that job. And we need to improve the organization so that we don't need those people. That's an example. But yeah, this is. We didn't have very traditional hierarchical organization. Well, yeah, traditional. It's not waterfall. It's traditional. It's traditional.
I think you partially answered it, and maybe it's about the journey, but I guess coming back to your question, why? Like, what was needed? What was broken that you require this change? And I guess you will talk about it in the journey, but then has it helped or not?
Yeah, it has helped. It has helped this transformation. No, but yeah, there were some reasons, for this transformation. I try to remember if we have this. No, let's go to the journey and we can talk later. Okay, Bartek, are you there?
So hello, hi guys. Happy to be here with you today. And as Jorge previously mentioned, I'm also an Agile coach that had the pleasure to work with him since the early phases, we could call it, of this transformation. Just to give you like a quick short background about myself, I've been working in the IT industry for more than 10 years now in the various leadership and Agile roles. I've been a Scrum Master, a team leader, and also an Agile coach. And now, yeah, I have the pleasure to work with Jorge in Zurich. So about our journey, if you could jump to the next slide, Jorge. Yeah. So it all began back in February last year. It was a random call that Jorge invited me to, and told me something like this: "Hey, Bartek, I've had a call with the BI platform management, and they are ongoing currently a reorganization. They want to move more towards Agile." And I said, "Great, nice to see that other departments are also doing something in this direction." And he said also that they wanted some help to join them as Agile consultants. So we were not supposed to like plan everything because they were already ongoing for a few months. We were just like to help them. And they wanted help with something they called the pilot project. It was 2 pilot teams, and they were supposed to focus around their business units in Germany and UK. And it was perfect proposal for me because I had my current project heading towards an end. So yeah, it turned out to be like really great timing. Next slide, please. Yeah, so more about the pilot squads. So the pilot squads, yeah, it was the idea was for me to help them facilitate the setup, the launch, right, and then train the squads in towards more agile ways of working. So help them become more cross-functional and customer-oriented, because so far they were just like platform support teams that were focused around a technology, and that's not what they wanted. So we basically agreed with Jorge that for some days I will just join the squad, see how they work, I learn about the issues that they are facing currently. And then basically we'll come again to a call and align on how to proceed from this position. So if you could turn to the next slide, please, Jorge. Okay, yeah, so that's how basically the exploration phase began. So not long after our first call, I joined the first daily alignments the squads had, and it quickly turned out that we'll have to start from the basics with the squads, as it really struck out that they had even like really big transparency issues. And now I can show you like one example. So if you click Jorge, then you'll be able to see this is like a snip, so a cutout of one of the boards that one of the teams used for their daily collaboration. And I don't know if you guys can see clearly what is there, but it's basically like team members and the items they had assigned to them that were in process. And when I saw this, it was like, yeah, I thought, that's some next level multitasking. I think we could learn something from them. or not, actually, because it was 220 items or even more. I think that the one team had in process. Yeah, they couldn't really explain shortly what's going on there. So amongst this issue, there were many others that you could really tell from the beginning, which were like inefficiencies in collaboration between teams, like knowledge silos or like communication issues they had. Yeah, next slide, exactly. So the team of two. Yeah, so basically we met again after the first few days of observing. And yeah, I told Jorge about the observations I had, right? And he said to me something like this, don't worry, we'll have plenty of time, as I learned that instead of 2 squads, we'll be launching 17 squads. And I said, like, wow, that's a big difference, right? But basically, yeah, it was clear to us that we'll need many more hands to help us with this transformation. So we also knew that it won't come in the next week or two, right? Because it sometimes takes a couple of months before we can actually recruit new people. So we had to come up with a plan, like how to survive actually until then, right? And next slide, please. That's where James Highsmith, one of the Agile precursors, right? Quote, a simple quote came in: "Build less, start sooner." And although it was not really meant for the transformation, right? It was more about, I think, the DevOps. But we had to focus on the essentials, right? So we knew that was key. So start simple and focus what we have to do, like the basics. So that's how our master plan was born. And if we could jump to the next slide. The master plan, yeah. So we decided that Jorge will focus on a high level with the on a higher let's say platform, right? With the leadership. So he will help leadership to organize themselves and basically plan how to follow up with the transformation, like the direction. While I focus with the 2 squads and help them work on a daily basis. So they had a dedicated Agile coach. That was me. We were working, collaborating daily, and we split the whole collaboration into 3 phases, we could call it, right? The first phase was more of a leading phase, where I was just like showing the guys and teaching them in the Agile methods, more about Scrum, Kanban, right? About some Agile tools, techniques, and also like working with the person from the team that was to take the Agile master role when I leave the team in the future, right? And yeah, I was basically mentoring that person throughout the whole process. But that was the first phase was leading. Then it was more shadowing. So the person from the team took over, and I was more of like sitting back and then like discussing my observations with the person, like talking, you know, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Right? How would you approach it if you were like to do the meeting second time, right? And the last phase was more of a support. So when they need my help in more complex situations, for example, planning some workshops, or like when I had some issues to solve, but it was like me focusing more on the next steps, like in the whole transformation of the new squads, right? And yeah, that was our simple plan. So we had to bring it to life, and you can see the cute picture of a rocket lifting off, right? And actually, that was the whole plan. Before we start flying with the squads, right? We'll have to actually lift off, and that's where Diana Larsen and Leslie Nees come in with their highly recommend, by the way, this book, Lift Off. And the quote you can see on the screen, which is basically teams need an initial boost, a lift-off, to generate a force that overrides the inertia resulting from a lack of common purpose, unclear communication channels, undefined working relationships, and other areas of ambiguity. In short, just start your teams properly. If you could go to the next slide. Yeah. And as we had dispersed teams, right? We had people working in Slovakia, in India, in Spain, somewhere like consultants working in even different locations all around the world. we had to go online, right? So virtual workshop was a must. It would be too high of a cost to get people even for the 1 day or 2 day workshop. So this was like quite a challenge, but we came up with a virtual board. We used Mural for this, and you can see the picture of one of the lift-off boards here. So basically, it was just like a beginning introduction, like why are we here? Then like get to know the people a little bit, and then just following the lift-off book, we split the workshop into 3 parts, which were purpose, alignment, and context. And to tell you a little bit more about each areas, we'll have them on the next slides. So if you could jump to the next slide, Jorge. I think we've skipped some slides, maybe they are hidden. Okay, so I don't suppose you can hide them right now, but maybe I can talk about them just like in short. Don't worry. It's not really much there. It's just like some pictures. So basically, purpose. Purpose is about like 3 things: a clear vision. So like what's going on, right? Like why are we even doing this transformation, right? So the team can get to like understand like the big picture, right? Squad mission. So basically, where can the team find themselves, right? Like in this whole transformation, like what's their thinking, or like what's their expectation for the team, right? Like what are we expecting? Like what's their job to do, right? And mission tests, which is basically how do we know that the team is going in the right direction? How do they know actually, right? So like how do they verify? What are the measurements for them? And this is like purpose. So it could be different exercises. We change them depending on the context that the team was in, right? Whether it was like a more customer-focused team, or maybe it was like a team that was enabling other teams, or maybe it was a team that was working on standards and processes, right? And that was purpose. The next pillar we could call alignment, which is basically more about like establishing team characteristics. So who do we have actually in the team? Like, what's their capacity? Preferably, of course, 100%, but that was not the case for us. What is their skill set? And more fun things like the team name, establishing a new team name, right? And a team avatar, which teams really appreciated. We have quite funny names for some of the teams. So yeah, I think Jorge, you shared some of them, right, in the previous picture. Yeah, the next thing was the. Sorry, cannot hear you as you're muted, but I see you're smiling. The next thing was the work process. So basically, we had to agree how we're going to start. Although we proceeded with the evolutionary change, right? We had to come up with some process that we'll start with. So usually it was like more of a Scrum or Kanban that where we would start. And then we just like, so how things are working, right, for the team. Should we change? Should we adapt? And then the last thing for the alignment, excuse me, was the initial agreements, which is basically timeframes, tools like we're going to use, right? Like when we're going to meet and so on. So these things are all very important before you start. And the last pillar was context. So basic context was more about like team interactions, like who are the stakeholders, like what will we need from them? What will they need from us? What will they expect from us? How are we going to collaborate with them? Like, what's the preferred channels of communication and so on? Things that we need to get started actually that we are missing still, right? Like accesses, maybe we need some trainings, maybe we're missing knowledge, right? Maybe we need some tools that prevent us from doing our job properly. So all these things we had to sort out before we start. And the last but not least was prospective analysis, where we actually focused, like a little bit on the future. What risks do we see, like identify them and help, like to come up with a plan how to mitigate them, maybe like someone who owns the risk, right? And things like that. And yeah, this is more or less about the workshop. So I guess now we can move to the next slide, which team APIs, yeah. So after we've launched the teams and we've worked with them for some time, we had to take care about the future, right? Because we'll be launching more than just 2 teams, right? So team APIs is a concept from Team Topologies that we used, like to make sure we lay some fundamentals for the future collaboration between the squads, right? So it's all about like the squads defining how would they like others to interact with them. So basically, you know, things like how to contact them, like how to like ask them for something actually, right? How to align, like when they have like, for example, some meetings where they can like show their work. So like Scrum, for example, Scrum reviews, right? Yeah, how to exchange information and so on. And as we used Atlassian Suite, we kept that information on Confluence. So this was our knowledge base, right? How to interact with the teams effectively. Next slide, please. Yeah, lean change. So lean change management, we use this concept. What would be agile, right? Without a improvement, right? So we've used the lean change management in a basic form, really. We wanted to introduce, you could call that dynamic approach to change, right? Encourage experimentation, decision-making, right? Lean change management has it very nicely described in the 5 universals of change. Of course, like the philosophies, which I think they have more than 50. So for anyone that would like to, you know, explore this concept a little bit more, yeah, you could just visit the, I think there is a URL on this slide, right? It's leanchange.org. So I highly recommend you have some time and read about it. But it's, yeah, really about like just, you know, coming up with some ideas, brainstorming, exploring your options, selecting the right ones, then acting, you know, analyzing the data and so on. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we've been running the transformation or helping on transformation for a few months before actually some reinforcements came. So before that, we could see the transformation was progressing. We could see, you know, some positive change, but it was rather slow. So around summer, I think it was when 2 brave souls joined us. It was Andy and Gabriel, the first 2 agile coaches that helped us during the transformation. So it was a lot of fresh ideas, concepts that they brought with them, right? Experience that they could share, their, you know, like different perspective on the things that we are doing. So it was really, really a big help to us. Next slides, please. And yeah, so the reproduction is basically like the help that came. So Andy and Gabriel allowed us basically to work at the same time in all 3 pillars of the organization, just one like before, right? And also like work on additional things, not just like launching and helping to develop the teams, but other concepts like, for example, communities of practice, where the guys are just like improving their skill set, you know, brainstorming to resolve some problems, sharing best practices. And right now we're actually trying to introduce like the communities of practice to actually being able to work on actual problems that the customer facing teams are having, right? So that basically we're trying to, instead of like a per person approach, we're trying to address the communities of practice, like, you know, all hands on deck, like who could help in case of an emergency. So that's what we are working on now. So it's effective, right? We don't want to overburden someone, but rather have it make it a possibility that someone could help. And we're also meeting and are still now on a weekly basis with the other agile coaches, where we are just discussing, you know, the transformation progress and the issues that we are facing. You know, we're helping each other and planning next steps. Yeah, so evolution. As the whole transformation was more of an evolution for us, right? We started slow and things were gaining pace. We wanted to keep everyone, like the whole department, informed and engaged since the beginning. And in order to achieve that, we had a few initiatives. Starting from the transparency, basically, we had the weekly meetings where the leadership did update, not only update on the transformation progress, but also encourage the participants to ask questions, provide like, you know, like their concerns, you know, so that it would hopefully lead to a meaningful dialogue. If you could click for, yeah, thanks. So also like the leadership's engagement was really high. They were fully committed into participating into this transformation. So they provided some feedback loops where they could where people could either anonymously, you know, provide feedback for what was their engagement with transformation, right? or they could like even directly engage with the leadership, you know, if they wanted to talk, ask questions. That was since the beginning, basically. And the last one, so basically we had collaboration, daily collaboration, you could say, even between all the levels of the transformation, right? From the Agile Masters teams and the leadership. The Agile Masters were the, let's say, the representative of the teams that could discuss inefficiencies, you know, impediments, possible improvements, making sure we plan actions as soon as possible to address the team's needs. And yeah, now I guess we could come to the outcomes so far. So starting with the first one, the increase in transparency, right? It was both for the organization. So things got much more clear for the people, right? They were able to see what's going on, but also for the customers. The customers provide us feedback that basically they see now what the teams are actually doing. They can actually see not only what they are doing now, but they could actually see into the future, right? Like what teams are planning to work on next. So it was much easier, you know, like to be able to plan the future steps. The collaboration was on all levels, like I mentioned. It was both inside the squads, it was with the customers, sometimes even on a daily basis, right? We had one team where the customer, who was also an experienced agilist, agreed to like experiment with the team and become like a product owner for the team, right? So we had the daily collaboration or communication, you could say, like between the teams and the teams that we, the platform worked for the business units, right? And the actual squad in the platform. So technological silos started to break down, right? The people not only being the technical experts in a technology, right? They started becoming more T-shaped. They started to learn like other technologies so they could support each other in different scenarios, like, you know, like vacation, sick leave, or like higher demand, for example, right? So yeah, we wanted really to break down those silos, and we can clearly see this is progressing nicely. And yeah, communication channels, they were shortened. We wanted to reduce like proxies, you know, their communication when possible, of course, but yeah, we also wanted to people not to, like, for example, we had the issues where some people engaged directly with the engineers because they wanted something fixed, right? We didn't want to have that. So we fixed some channels as well, not only like shortening them, but also like fixing, so it's proper addressing like to the squad rather than people directly. And yeah, that's it for this slide. So I guess to summarize, as you can see the quote from Henrik Nyberg here, the important thing is not your process, the important thing is your process for improving your process. So we could say that our plan wasn't perfect, as you saw, it was really simple in the beginning. But I guess for any like initiative like this, you don't really need to have a perfect plan. You need to make sure it's good enough to continuously improve on the way. And that's it from my side. So thank you, guys.
No questions, Bartek.
Perfect. Or it was so boring.
No worries. Okay, so okay. So few takeaways from our experience, okay, in this transformation. First one, yeah, flexible models over fixed receipts. Okay, this is the model versus framework. Okay, and yeah, we've seen in the journey, no, that Bartek has explained that, yeah, we grew over time. Okay, so we didn't come and say, okay, this is the solution, and let's apply it. No, we needed to learn. Evolution over the Big Bang related to the previous one. Yeah, for me, this is very important, the context. And maybe this is answering what you said before. We need to understand the context and apply the best solutions. Okay, in our context now, this is the best solution. But for sure, we are going to improve because it's part of our mantra. And yeah, some of a bit of resilience over immediates. So sometimes we get frustrated because, for example, us as change agents, we know the solution. No? We know that if we apply this, it's going to work. But the context, usually slow you down, and you need some time. If you think about fixing this right now, you're going to get frustrated and down. And last but not least, this is our vision. Okay, the agile, the vision of our area, not just the platform, but the area. There are many things, but I want to highlight one. With joy, always. Everything that you do is with joy. And with that, thank you very much for your time. Now, yes, Gosha, do you want to say something? Alcoholic drinks, because sorry, but it's prohibited here.
Please leave at when leaving on the store. Okay, I will leave the box so you can leave it there. But you will need it to go to the toilet and to go back. Okay, so don't leave it to early if you want to go back. And that's it. Well, very nice to having you here.
Thank you.
Jorge, a question. Usually the teams themselves are not necessarily looking forward for change.
No,
Was
human beings are against change by nature. That's a reality.
I would say human beings, animals in general, yeah. But so the question is, because particularly for us in Leadwell, we've changed our own organization, much smaller, but we've changed our own organization in 3.5 years, something like 5 or 6 times. Adapting, there's tweaks here, tweaks there, and in some cases they're more welcoming. In some cases, people are just like, why? Then they see some improvements, they see some negatives, and iterate again and over and over. In your case, what were agents that were promoting the change and accepting and welcoming? Which ones were resistant it? And
Yes, answer the question.
anything that
About the ladders, how you work out the ladders, impediments with the people. Yes, I have a
So, before we mentioned lean chain management, okay? Lean chain management, we could say it is a model. Okay, it's on the framework. They have 5 universal patterns. So 5 things that if you do those things, you are going to be, let's say, more successful than if you don't apply those things. One of these universals of change talks about resistance, okay, and talks about that, usually as a change agent or traditional change managers, the first thing that they do is a plan to manage the resistance, okay, and that put you in an offensive situation, and that put the people in a defensive situation. So this universal states that you should manage the resistance in the different way, not as a resistance, but as something that you will get very, very precious feedback. So when someone gets to you and say, this is a shit, this is not going to work, instead of saying, okay, this guy is resisting, I need to do something to fire him. No, that is the best feedback that you can get, because it's really honest. And if you are able to use that feedback for the next iteration of your change, yeah, resistance is going to disappear. There are more, let's say, tips from lean chain management is, for example, co-creation. So if you co-create change, resistance, again, is going to be removed, because the best way that, so if you want someone to follow a plan, the best way is that they plot that plan. Is the best way, always.
I tend to agree with that. Usually the problem is the inertia. So people that are too busy to plan or to attend meetings or to participate. And in those cases, that's where it's very difficult to get them to co-create with you.
Okay, so, but you've already spotted the root cause. They don't have time. So before you start doing other changes, or maybe the first changes that you do is to give them time. Then you will get the buy-in from them. Well, then you need to do a more deeper root analysis. Why they don't have time? Why we have back-to-back meetings in our organization, for example. No, things like that.
I suppose that's the Ouroboros side of it, the snake that bites its tail. That to start looking at the root cause, you need a time to look at the root cause, and so on and so forth.
Of course.
I think we all faced it. Like, yeah, I'm back to back. So how do I analyze how to break the back to back?
Well, you can hire a contractor and that help us to
and then you get
free time.
A consultant that brings you the holy grail.
Yeah. For that, yeah, I use the lean chain management concepts. At the end, is about doing change in iterations, and yeah, learning, and this thing is how from my point of view, you will be more successful if you apply these concepts that the traditional ways of transforming, changing, improving teams, areas, or things. Hey, let's keep the discussion if you want on the other side of the room.